Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to the December shop update. Let me just put the light on. Is that better or worse? It's fine. Okay, so today's shop update, today is Monday the 5th of December. I was going to do this last week, but A, it wasn't December, and B, I didn't have all of the gadgets and gizmos that I'd ordered. So I have been having a little bit of a buying frenzy with tools and various bits and pieces. So I'm just going to go through what I've got. I've got a few other things coming as well, but yeah, I've actually bought quite a lot lately. I was going to just remind myself of all the prices of everything, but it's not really necessary. So I'm sure one thing that I bought recently is quite obvious. Is RoJoBe Music t-shirts. So actually my wife helped me with this, found a company that prints t-shirts. I mean, the t-shirt quality itself is good. As for the print quality, only time will tell. It seems alright at the moment. So I actually ordered 10 of them. I mean, one of the reasons is we've got two work experience helpers that come and work here at the school at weekends. So, you know, I get them to wear one of the t-shirts each, and you know, a few for myself, and you know, I might, you know, hand them out to other people from time to time, but because, as I said, I'm not sure how long this print will last on here. It's just screen printing, and you know, I'm fairly certain that it will peel off in time, so I've got a few spares myself. So I bought 10 of them, and supply, printing and delivery of 10 t-shirts was 1,830 Thai baht. Okay, now that equates to somewhere in the ballpark of 40 quid or $50, which I think is pretty damn good. Even if, you know, this doesn't last forever, I think that's a really good price. You know, you pay a lot more than that, I think, in the UK and probably the US as well. Excuse me, the US as well. So yeah, pretty good price. Anyway, moving on to some of the other tools, gadgets and gizmos that I've been buying recently. Where should I start? Okay, so I've already got these guitar bridge clamps. So this one is for acoustic guitar, this one is for classical guitar. You can see it's a bit wider to span the longer bridge on a classical guitar. These are quite good. They're made of wood. I believe they're pine. I'm not sure, to be honest. But they're okay. They're relatively cheap. But I recently bought another one, which is made of aluminium. Now this was, let me think, probably about a tenner, £10, $12-ish. So again, not all that expensive, but it's going to be much more hard wearing, and you know, the threads are going to be better. I did have an issue with one of these where it's got a threaded insert at each end, and the threads kind of, actually the threads on the inserts didn't strip out, but one of the turnkeys kind of stripped a bit. So I'm thinking this one's going to be a bit better. Anyway, so that's that. I bought a gadget for sharpening chisels and blades, you know, planer blades and that kind of thing. So the idea with this, with my honing stones, is you'll lay this onto the stone with your blade here, and it'll keep it at the right angle or keep it still while you're sharpening. Now, so it's meant for chisels and planer blades, but what I'm seeing with this little gadget, which wasn't expensive, it's it's at 45 degrees, so you can put it that way or that way, and it's at 45 degrees. Now the bevel on a chisel is not 45 degrees, so I may be able to use that gadget for a few things, but I don't think it's going to be suitable for the chisels because it is just the wrong angle. Chisel tip bevels are not 45 degrees. And on that subject, I bought myself a nice set of chisels as well. This isn't the box they came in, it's just one that I put them in to keep them from, you know, getting knocked about. So I've got 4 of them. I've got a, what size is that one? 4mm. And, is it 4? Yeah, that one's 4mm. And see the handles on them as well. And I've got a 5mm, and I've got a 14mm, and a 22mm. So these were relatively expensive. They worked out about £8 or £9 each, about $10 each. They're made in the Czech Republic. They're very good quality. You know, I do have some chisels, but they're really cheap, nasty, horrible things, and I just thought it was about time I got myself a decent set of chisels. So they've got really nice handles on them with the, I don't know what you call it, but I could just call it a block at the end for, you know, if you need to tap it with a hammer, but I won't really be doing much of that. You can't really see it too well in this camera, but they do seem to be good quality. The brand is Narex, N-A-R-E-X, from the Czech Republic. Really good reviews on these, and you know, when they arrived I thought, yeah, they're really, really nice. The only thing is the handle does seem kind of light, so I'm not sure how solid that wood is, but you know, I'm not going to be hammering these chisels. They're for, you know, for hand work, so time will tell how good they are. I'm sure they'll be really good. Okay, another thing I bought this quite a while ago actually, is a new compass for making circles. Now this is really good quality. This cost me the equivalent of about £5, $6 or so, but it's got some weight to it. You know, that's probably £1 in weight, I would guess. Decent size. I mean, I've got quite big hands, and you can see it's a good size. So it has, let me just take this off the end, it has the sharp points on the end, but it also has an insert for a pencil if you wanted to use it that way. So they are good quality, and they were cheap. So I haven't used them yet, but that's another gizmo that I bought. What else have we got here? Okay, some cheap ABS binding, guitar binding. So I've got this in white or cream really, and I've ordered some more which is in faux tortoise shell. That should be arriving today actually. Okay, so because I'm going to start to, you know, try to do some binding on some of my builds. I've never done it before. I know how to do it, but I've never actually tried it, and it is tricky to get it right. So I'm going to have a go at that anyway. I've got a couple of new bandsaw blades. I actually bought 3, but one of them I fitted already because I snapped a blade again. Now these are 400 baht each, which is about £10, or just shy of £10. So they're not cheap, but you know, I did buy some cheap ones before, and they lasted literally 1 cut, and they just exploded. Useless stuff. Well, they burnt out first of all. They just went completely blunt, and then, you know, just fell apart. So, you know, you've got to get good quality things like this. So, yeah, these as I said were, you know, in the region of £10 each, and hopefully they'll last a bit longer. Okay, I'm going to move on because I've got so many things here. Another thing I bought is this set of close-up work glasses. They're called LED rechargeable spectacle magnifier. Now these were pretty cheap as well. So they've got an LED light on them. Where's the switch? Where's the switch? I haven't even used them yet. Is that it there? Yeah. Okay, so they've got an LED light on them, 2 levels of brightness, and they come with this rather nice little case with the lenses in them, which come like this. Again, nice quality. I mean, you know, there's some thought gone into these. Little cleaning cloth as well. So these, they've got 4 different lenses. Let's see, 1.5 magnification, 2.5, 3.5, and 5. I'm never going to use the 3.5 or the 5. Possibly not even the 2.5, but I've tried them out and they're pretty good, to be honest. And as I said, again, relatively cheap for what they are. I mean, you know, it's all pretty good quality. You've got padding on the inside here. There's also a rubber band, for the want of a better word, that you put around here to hold them on your head. And to be honest, I use them for these because these keep falling off. So yeah, that's pretty good. I was quite happy with that. Much better quality than I was expecting for the price. And the same with this compass. A lot better than I was expecting, really. Okay, so moving on, let's see. I bought a desktop tuner. It's a good brand, Korg. I guess it's Korg. The model is a GA50. It's the older type, but I prefer this because it's just simple. There's no metronome on it. It's a guitar and bass tuner, a desktop one. So it's got the digital needle that, you know, comes across, and you've got 2 lights, 3 lights. I'm not going to be able to see that, but there's 3 lights across the top. So this side is a red light for when it's flat. You've got a green light in the middle for when it's spot on, and a red light here for when it's sharp. Tried it out, it's pretty good. That's when I'm doing setups on guitars and things like that. I just think they're a little bit more accurate than the clip-on tuners, and you know, in a way easier to use. So when I'm setting up intonation, etc., that's what that's for. That was, how much was that? That was, I can't remember now. That was about 400 baht, I think. So again, about a tenner. Not too bad. Okay, now another thing I bought is this setup. What is it, you're asking? Now some of you might know what this is. Okay, it's got a windy handle at the back, it's got a big wheel here and 2 smaller rollers underneath. So what this is for is for putting a radius in frets. So you run the fret wire through here, tighten this down depending on what radius you want, and as you run it through, it will put a curve in it. So there was that, and it also came with a set of fret pullers. Again, high quality, really nice, solid, chunky tools. Can't remember what I paid for that. I think about 1,300, so that's, you know, 25, 30 quid, something like that. Seems quite a lot, but they are good quality and they're going to be really, really useful, and they'll definitely pay for themselves. Okay, so that's that one. Sorry I'm rushing through these a bit, but I've got quite a lot to get through. Actually, there's not much more, but that was one of my best purchases. I've not actually used it yet, but I know it's going to work really well, because most of the instruments I make with a flat fretboard. There's no radius in it, but you still really want to insert the frets with a slight radius to them, so that when you tap them in, you tap the edges in and then the middle to flatten it down. And if you've got a flat fret and you put it in a flat fretboard, what often happens is the ends will lift up ever so slightly, and then you can get all sorts of problems. You get buzzing, and the frets can come loose, and they catch on your fingers and everything. So if you put them in with a very slight radius to them, when you tap them in, and you tap the middle in last, it you know, straightens them out and holds them nice and firm, and the ends don't lift up. Okay, moving on. So I've got these. Now there's about 200 there, little tiny magnets. I think they're about 5mm across. So yeah, it's about 200, and they're little round ones. And I've also got these ones. There's 10 or 11 there. So these are, you know, flat. They're about, I'd say, 3 centimeters by 1.5 or 2 centimeters, thereabouts. And these are really strong magnets. These are known as rare earth magnets. Now, if any of you know about that, these are N50s and these are N52s. These are smaller, but they're more powerful. Now, the reason I've got these, they make really good clamps for small, you know, work. So, for example, if I was putting a bridge or a bridge plate on a guitar or a ukulele, which especially a ukulele, it can be difficult to get a clamp in place, you know, just a G clamp or something like that. So these are really good for your small work. You know, you put one magnet underneath and another one on top, and because they're really strong magnets, it will clamp it. So these are basically clamps. And if you've got a crack in the top of a guitar or in the back, generally you'll fix them by getting a cleat, which is a small piece of wood, normally sort of diamond shaped, and you put it underneath. Well, you glue the joint first, and you put these little cleats, these little wooden cleats, underneath so they span across the crack to strengthen it. Now, as you can imagine, I mean, these things are like, you know, usually sort of 10mm long, you know, so something like that would be really hard to clamp. So that's where these come into their own, something like that, you see. So they were relatively expensive, but they're going to be really, really useful. So, as I said, they're basically clamps. Okay, so what else have we got? I've shown you my chisels. Excuse me. Now, this is one of my best purchases. So this is a Japanese saw. Okay, it's double-edged. I'm going to leave the guards on there. So you've got one coarse side for rip cutting. Is that right? Yeah. So you've got a coarse side here for rip cutting, which is basically cutting across the grain of wood, and you've got rip cutting is for going with the grain, and cross cutting, as the name would suggest, goes across the grain. And that one is double cut, so it'll cut on the push and on the pull. Made in Japan, Japanese saw. These things are incredible. They've been around for hundreds of years, this design. Quite unusual looking as far as, you know, saws that we know of in the Western world, but, you know, a really good accompaniment to my Japanese Shinto saw rasp. Again, I've not used it yet. But that was quite expensive, probably £30, £35, $40 thereabouts, but worth its weight in gold. I mean, Japanese hand tools are some of the best in the world, arguably. So I'm quite looking forward to the first time I use that, but not quite sure when that'll be just yet. And I keep the guards on because that's incredibly sharp. Okay, so we're coming towards the end now. That's all of the tools. I have also got a few accessories, bits and pieces. So, as you probably already know, I'm building these cigar box guitars. I've built one already, and I'm building 2 more. And one of them is going to have black hardware. That's the saddle, and those are the tuners. So I've also bought some strap buttons to match those in black, and where are they? So I've got some string trees. I'm not going to take them out of the packet, but little string trees also in black, so that all of the hardware will be in black. And I've also got the gold set. That's the bridge and saddles and the tuners. And again, I bought matching strap buttons and the string trees to match those as well. Okay. And I've also bought some brass frets. They say they're brass, probably not. But they match in colour as well. If you just look at the bridge and saddles, you can see they're a pretty good match. So with that one, literally all of the hardware will be in gold colour. Now these were pretty cheap. 1 second, we've got a visitor. Okay, sorry about the interruption. I had a delivery. Almost perfect timing. So I'll just show you quickly what this is. 1 second, just get it back. So this is the abalone binding. Yeah, it's not faux tortoiseshell, it's faux abalone or abalone, whatever it is. So I've got quite a lot of that, and that's much prettier than the normal plain cream one. So, my goodness, that's narrow. Okay, so I'll be doing some experimenting with that later on. Yeah, so coming back to the frets that I bought, you know, I was worried that these were just coated and that, you know, with any wear or doing the fret leveling, it would just be silver underneath. So, I mean, they were cheap. But I took one out of the packet and I got a file to the end of it and just filed it a bit, and it turns out they are that colour all the way through. Awesome. So, and these also, you're not going to be able to see it, I don't think, but these come with a slight curve in them already. So when I come to fitting those, they will go in nicely. Now the other frets I've got for what's going to be the black one, they don't have the curve, but I might try my little new gadget. This is easier to use when you've got a long length of the stuff and you can just run it through. So the little frets like this should be alright. I'll give it a go. It should be fine. Time's starting to run out. Okay, so let me just think. Is that everything? I think so. Oh, one other thing. I've got a motorbike. I've had it for 6 years or so, 5 or 6 years. A Honda 500, and I've not been using it for about a year. So it's been sat at home, not doing anything. So I wanted to start using it again. So I had to get a new battery for it because the battery was completely dead. That cost me 550 baht, that's about 12 quid, 13 quid, $15 thereabouts. So pretty cheap. That worked just fine, and where the bike had been sat, you know, for almost a year, with a cover over it, it's, you know, obviously the heat and humidity here, the bike was a bit of a mess, and it had like white mould on the tyres and everything. I was worried that the tyres were going to be perished, but they're not. I've checked them over there and they're fine. So I had it all cleaned up, put some fuel in it, and rode it here to the shop last week, and the handling was strange. I mean, at speed it was okay, but at low speed, particularly cornering, it seemed a bit, it's like the steering seemed stiff, and you know, I thought probably tyres. Didn't even think to check the tyre pressures. So I bought a tyre pressure gauge and a portable tyre pressure pump. Checked it this morning. Now the tyre pressures, bear in mind, are supposed to be 29 front and rear, 29 psi front and rear. Well, the rear was 9.4 and the front was 7.4. So I think that was the problem. So I pumped the tyres up and I rode it here again today, and it's absolutely fine. Okay, so we're running out of time now. I am going to be doing some more work on the cigar box guitar. Haven't managed to get round to it for 2 or 3 weeks again. The school's going absolutely mad again. So I'm going to be getting on with that today, and going to be recording some of that as well. So that will be uploaded at a later date. And yeah, I'm looking forward to cracking on with that. It's going to be a long time before I've finished it yet, because there's still a lot of work to do. I've barely started really. I hope you enjoyed this video of the update. I'll probably do another one towards the end of the month, around Christmas time. But in the meantime, if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit the notification bell, subscribe if you haven't already, let your friends, family and colleagues know about my channel, and we will see you soon. Peace out.